It's 9:36. Do you know where your Neil is? Because I don't know where mine is.
We're going to start at 9:36, which I'm looking at my phone. We're standing at this horrible location that is unlike anything in Santa Barbara. And I hope we go to our time limit, Albert. That is my goal today. Uh,
Our time limit's noon. So
so
he has like a little over 2
a little
hours.
under 2.5 hours, which that's less time than it took for mine, but it's 9:36.
All right, bye, Neil. Neil can go anywhere. Every B-Cycle station from this location is less than 30 minutes away, including the one out in Montecito on Coast Village Road, 23 minutes away by bike, the one on Cliff Drive, or the farthest one on Cliff Drive, 20 minutes away, I think, and then the one out on Las Positas on the way to Hendry's Beach, I believe is only 17 minutes away. There's like a nice little back road you can take, which means that his map is wide open, and we're gonna have to do some work to find out where he is. He could have gone in any direction.
So I'm currently walking away after parking my bike and quickly taking my photo of a building, which on my run was the most useful thing for confirming a location. If I didn't have that, I don't know how I would have narrowed Albert's location down, at least his station. So I took that that photo so that I won't have to go back to the station. I think that's the only photo I'll have to go back to it. And I'm just walking. It took me about 13 minutes to get here, driving directly, and then I had to fiddle around with the camera and such. There's a few parks in this area. I feel like parks might be a little too obvious, but I don't know if I'll be able to find a better place because there's just a lot of houses around here. The photo that I sent him is of a house. I don't think that photo will be all that useful until he gets to the actual station. The station is at the east side public library branch, which I can't hide in the library because it's not open right now, but Albert might think that I am. So there's a possibility that I can hide somewhere indoors that's not the library. That might trip him up. He might think I'm in the library, but we'll see. I'm going to keep walking around and see if I can find somewhere before Albert gets too close to me and I'm locked in place. But in a few minutes, Albert will be released. I'll see him soon.
It was very hard for Neil to find me in this dense cluster of B-Cycle stations in downtown. I think we do need to eliminate that as a possibility. He wouldn't need very much time to get to one of those stations, and then he would have the entirety of his time to find a nice little hiding nook like I did. So it might actually be an okay play. When we hit the release time, I'm just going to try a 1 mile radar on him. That should eliminate the majority of downtown Santa Barbara, kind of cutting off at the downtown freeway, the 101, and going up to roughly where he asked his first question yesterday. And then based on that information, we'll need to figure out which direction to go. If it is a hit, then I'll just have to meander around downtown and try to find where he is. I do have an advantage this time because I have printed out a map of the B-Cycle stations, and I've just sketched what I believe to be a rough 1 mile radius of where I am, which is like here-ish. So depending on whether or not he is within that 1 mile radius will tell us what we do.
So I found this little park. Unfortunately, there's people at it currently. So I don't feel comfortable sitting there with kids around and filming. So I'm gonna go across the street. There's an elementary school, but there's a little lawn in front of the elementary school where I will sit. We'll see. Albert hit me with a 1 mile radius immediately, which I am not within 1 mile of him. So that was a miss. It doesn't give him a lot of info, except that I didn't try to do a short. I did think about, oh, what if I was stayed in the State Street area? It's pretty um, dense there. Maybe I could trick him with staying really close. Good thing I didn't do that, because then he would know I was there. But yeah, there's some trees around here that hopefully won't be too awkward if I were to sit and hang out at and later. It's a little awkward. But if straight up it's going to be a tree, and selfie is going to be also a tree, so hopefully that's not too revealing. Let's draw the cards. All right. Draw one, veto. Draw two, draw one, expand one. It's pretty good. I guess I immediately use one, draw one card from your hydro deck for this round. So I'll discard that, draw one, my hand is now him, and a curse.
I'm going to try to ask him if he's closer to a mountain peak or not from me. The valid mountains in play, or the closest ones, I guess, would be the San Ynez Mountains, La Cumbre Peak, and Montecito Peak, I believe. And all three of those are like roughly 5 miles away from me. So if he is closer, that is going to tell me he is more towards the mountains, maybe Milpas Street or something like that. And if he is farther, then that tells me he's probably either down past the wharf, somewhere along the beach there, or potentially Cliff Drive, and that'll be pretty valid. I think that's going to cut the remaining number of B-cycle stations roughly in half.
So I looked at the cards that I was able to draw. I really wanted to hit him with the unguided tourist, but after fiddling around with Google Maps and not really getting the screenshots to work and being scared that he was going to move around too fast, he hit me with 2 more questions. So he asked me a total of 3 questions: a radar, set distance from the coast, and distance from the mountains. I'm close to the coast and closer to the mountains, which kind of confirms I'm on the east side, because I'm closer to the mountains. And he eliminated the west side effectively with those measuring questions. However, measuring questions allowed me to draw lots of cards. 3 questions, 3 cards. And the radar was draw 2, keep 1. The 2 measurings were draw 3, keep 1. So I had a lot of filtering. I got a lot of curses. In fact, I drew 3 different curses. But I just wanted to hit him with something immediately that would be kind of difficult to slow him down, which was the curse of the egg partner. And so Albert should be going to get an egg right now, which I think will really slow him down. I'm not hugely confident on my end game prospects sitting in this little grassy corner right here. So it's good that I'm going to be able to slow him down a little bit. He has some general vibes. I haven't looked at the B-cycle map. I don't know if he's really narrowed it down a lot. But chances are he's coming my way. I'm worried that he maybe didn't see the egg. There's plenty of places to get an egg. It's 10 o'clock on Milpas. There's lots of places. So I don't think it'll slow him down too much, but it'll be funny.
The Santa Barbara Public Market is about a block and a half away. Having to get around with the bicycles with the egg is going to be really annoying. But I am just going to walk over there rather than checking out a bike. And I will hopefully be able to get my little egg buddy and continue asking Neil questions. I just remembered that the public market is not an actual market. It is like a food hall. So we are pivoting. 3 blocks up, there is a food co-op that appears to be open, and I'm sure they'll have eggs. The price of eggs, what they are right now. Neil, this is it's kind of a mean move on your part. I regret not taking a cycle at this point. I am clearly like much farther away from this thing than I thought I was. And there was just a cycle station that I passed. It would only have gotten me like a block or 2, but it might have been worth it. We'll see. Certainly gonna grab the first one going down. Apparently it's across the street. I did not need to cross. Wasting time. Well, my mistake, and now I gotta cross again. Ooh. Green light, convenient. Let's see, I hope they have eggs. What kind of grocery store wouldn't have eggs? There's some eggs. Hello, little egg buddy. Hi there.
Are you vlogging or?
Yeah, we're playing a game, hide and seek, and I need an egg, so.
Oh wow. Okay, you're all set.
All right, thank you so much. Here's my egg friend. We're gonna travel together for a bit. I actually don't need the rest, so if you want them, thank you. All right, Egg Buddy and I are gonna find a B-cycle station. There's one across the street right there, but it's empty. I definitely saw some bikes like a block up. Let me go grab those and see what we can do. I might just head down towards Milpas to eliminate it, do like a quarter or a half mile radar on Neil, and then that'll pretty clearly tell me whether or not he's at the beach somewhere. Or maybe I could just hit him with like a selfie or something. No, well, that won't work because he can move right now. Tallest building he can see, maybe? Let me find my bike and then we'll figure out what we'll do. All right, there's my B-cycle station over there. Gonna run across the street. Woo. We're gonna bike, head towards the Milpas area, see if we can find Neil.
I am back at this tree. The end game hasn't officially started, but I walked around. I found what I thought would be some pretty good hiding spots. There was this nice little bridge, and they were like classic jet lag hide under a bridge. Just kind of like little undeveloped corners where I could hide and make it look like a park. Unfortunately, they were just outside the hiding zone. So because of that, I think I'm gonna have to stay here. There's also some parks nearby. I'm hoping when Albert sees this tree, when he inevitably asks for pictures, it will think he's in the park and he'll check the parks first. I'm just gonna sit here until he finds me.
So I just started a 1 mile thermometer at Milpas and East Gutierrez, De La Guerra. Basically trying to cut out all of Milpas, kind of east side area. I think Neil's at the beach. It's the prettiest place to film from. That's most likely where he's gonna end up, unless he's at Montecito. But anyway, I'll find out what happens when I get to the end of this 1 mile bike ride.
He sent me a message saying 1 mile thermometer. I hope he means half mile thermometer. I hope he's not biking a mile right now. Not that a mile's a huge, super hard to bike on a e-bike, but from where he started it and where he's going straight down a street, straight towards me. So depending on if he bikes a mile or a half mile, he will definitely be closer. So he is narrowing it down closer and closer and closer. Luckily, I'm a few streets over from where he was biking. There's a non-zero chance that he would just bike right past me and see me. That's not going to happen, thankfully, but he's narrowing down. I think after he gets this down, he'll probably ask for some picture questions and then be able to narrow down to B-Cycle Station, and then it's only a matter of time. I think he's going to get me before 12. I hope so, because that hard cutoff is cutting it close to when I have to pick up my son from school. But it'll be a race. Let's see, Albert, can you beat the time limit? It's becoming exciting just to see if he can find me in time before our hard cutoff.
But that does mean I get to draw 2, keep 1. I've had a really good curse look so far. 6-minute time bonus and a 4-minute time bonus. I will keep the 6-minute time bonus because that's better. Uneventful at this point, but I expect to get some pictures soon. I've taken all of my pictures. I was able to take a selfie such that only the tree is in the shot. And if you look straight up, it just looks like a tree, so he'll know pretty definitively it's a tree. I don't think he's quite in a quarter mile yet, but he's very close. And I got my hand. I am expecting to see Albert once he gets to this section. I don't think it'll take him, I think it'll take him maybe 15-20 minutes to find me max once he actually gets into my zone. And I think he'll get in my zone pretty soon.
I'm here at beautiful East Beach. Neil was warmer off of that thermometer, which in retrospect probably wasn't super useful. Maybe I should have just asked him the coastline question a second time when I got like halfway through, or actually all the way through that Milpas section. But we've already done that, and now I need to figure out if I can actually use that information at all, or if that was completely wasted. Still have my egg buddy. Nary a crack on him. I probably should have inspected him closer before we started that. Make sure he didn't start with any cracks, but I don't think he did. He's a good little egg buddy. Maybe we just ask him building from B-Cycle Station. One of the picture questions.
It looks like Albert is at the beach right now. He hasn't taken any pictures, so he doesn't actually know anything about where I'm exactly sitting. I think I picked this area because it had a lot of B-Cycle stations. I was worried that like, oh, it'd be obvious there's lots of B-Cycle stations now. I'm now realizing that density is really good in this game, especially because he doesn't know where my B-Cycle station is. He probably feels so lost right now. What else could I ask? Hopefully he thinks of those picture questions, because those picture questions are going to go a long way. I'm kind of surprised. He asked a lot of questions immediately and then got cursed. I think I scared him from asking more questions, because now he's only asked a few questions. Yeah, he's only asked the thermometer since then. Got the egg to the thermometer. I think he's narrowed it down pretty well. I think there's 5 or 6 stations, but he doesn't have any information about the stations. I think he's just going to each of the stations. I don't know why. We'll see. I don't know what he's up to. What are you up to, Albert? What are you up to? Well, Albert hit me with a tallest structure. Oh, street sweeping day. We're doing it on Tuesday. We're testing the noise canceling. Okay. As the street sweeper goes away, hopefully you can hear me slightly better. I get to draw one more card. I have the 1 time bonus, but pictures are only worth 1. And I get another time bonus. He asked tallest structure, which wasn't that useful because it's not from the station. I took a picture of any building. I imagine he'll follow up with that, though he knows probably, based on the picture I sent him, that there's a house nearby. So it's neighborhoods, and he was over on the coast, kind of by the beach, and I'm close-ish to the beach, but I'm not on the beach. So I think he'll realize that I'm a little farther north from where he currently is. He might even be a quarter mile from me right now. He might even like just randomly bike past me and see me. So I'm gonna check, see if he asks another question. But I think he's on the way here, even though that question wasn't what he wanted. He definitely knows the vibe of where I am.
So Neil just gave me I don't know if you can see it very well. Tallest structure from his sight line, which appears to just be some random house. Which is a little bit confusing. There aren't going to be any houses down by the beach. So I think I may have overshot him a little bit, which is pretty frustrating. I'm wondering if I can figure out something better to do. Okay, I think I can ask him if he's closer to the airport than me if I just move a little bit farther down the block. Is closer to SBA than the Rainbow Arch. So we're gonna head in that direction. He's probably over by the wharf, like I said.
So Albert just hit me with a closer to the airport, which is really interesting because the airport's really far away, but it's technically in Santa Barbara. So things are starting to get a little interesting now. Albert is on the other side of the freeway still. I think he might have accidentally eliminated these stations.
I am at Cabrillo and Helena over by the little fake lighthouse. And I have asked Neil a half-mile radar to see if we are approaching endgame here. If he is not within a half mile of me at this point, I have definitely messed up. He might be back towards Milpas, which was, I guess, technically a possibility. That little house scares me a little bit, but there are some weird things back in the side streets there, so maybe I am on the right track. We'll see.
Oh, Albert is on the pier right now. Oh no, Albert, you went the wrong way. I think so the airport question, I think, really confused him because I was barely closer to SBA than he was. Not by a lot, barely closer. I'll message him and see what he's missing.
So he hit me with a half-mile radar, which is a miss while he's over by the wharf. Probably thought I was over there. Which hopefully that points him in my direction. There's a set of B-cycle stations over here. It's not like there's just one station. If he sees these three and he's like, oh, there I go. We're running close on time. He has another 20-ish minutes to try to find me. Again, don't think it's going to be a very long end game once he gets here.
Trying to figure out what I did wrong here. Neil is not within a half mile of my location right now, which is surprising and I believe eliminates basically all of this area, which leaves him back towards the Sprouts Milpas thing. I guess I have to head back over there. Can't believe Neil's back on Milpas. I went right by him. I think that was why he sent that TMI message saying that he was in his hiding spot already. So I guess I had triggered endgame by passing by him. Unless, once again, I am very wrong. There's about half an hour of game day left. I think if I had another hour and a half, I would be able to find Neil like he had for me. Half an hour might be a little tricky as we approach this end game. All right, back to Milpas we go. Wasted so much time leaving that area. I definitely misunderstood the thermometer, I think. I'm doing another 1 mile radar just to see if I'm at all in the right area or not. Okay, so that's a hit. So we are within a mile of him. Maybe I can do a photo from the station. Like the scale of questions just doesn't work well for a game of this size, especially when Google Maps is like no more accurate than 0.2 to 0.3 miles. Like that's kind of a big difference in a game this size. And when there are questions that are like, you know, 10 miles away, like even the 3 mile thermometer is essentially like basically not doable for this size game, which is kind of frustrating. All right, he gave me a picture of a building from the station. Not super useful for me. Like he said, I probably have eliminated his spot already. And I don't know how to like unbreak the game in that way. Let me see if I can figure something out.
So Albert has hit me with 2 more questions. First, he asked for another 1 mile radar. I think he eliminated my section of the map based on some of his measuring questions, and I answered them correctly, but they were close. So I think that screwed him up a little bit. The density here in Santa Barbara, I think, is a little bit too precise for this game. But shouldn't be too bad in Vancouver, hopefully. So I think Albert's on his way here, but it's a race against the clock. It's a race against the clock. We have a little more than 15 minutes left.
Albert asked for a photo straight up, which will be a tree. I think he asked that question because he found my hiding spot. I think he's going to be looking at his phone right now. I doubt he's going to be filming because he's hard against the clock and he knows that. And I'm just going to have to walk back to the station soon. He will probably start checking the parks around here, and I expect when he comes to check, he will find me quite quickly. So I do get to draw a card for that, which I will go ahead and do right now, which I expect to be the last card I'm going to draw today. It's going to be my last time bonus. And I will see you soon.
All right, Neil, I have found your building from the station, and I am coming to find you. I wonder if you're in the library. That would be funny, because we had talked about that in a previous discussion about legal hiding places. I just asked you for a photo straight up, and that should tell me whether or not you're inside this building. All right, Neil just sent me a photo of some trees that he's just sitting under a tree somewhere. I've got essentially 11 minutes to find the tree that Neil is hiding under. Which is gonna be a little bit tricky. Let's see if I can kind of cut this area in half or not.
I am here at my tree. I have lost the ability to see Albert momentarily, but I think he is now currently going to all of the parks, and it's just a block away. The closest park is probably thoroughly checking that. If he's smart, he'll realize that I couldn't have really hid there very well, because I would have to be right on the edge of the park. But once he realizes there's another park a little farther down, he'll walk right over here, and I think I will see him any minute now, cutting it very close to 12 o'clock, but ultimately going to be able to find me.
I just asked Neil if he is closer to the zoo or not from me. Let's see what he says. I'm hoping that he is, well, it doesn't really matter. Either I have to go down this street or I have to go up this street. It doesn't really make sense for me to pick a direction until he tells me whether or not he is closer to this zoo. He hasn't even seen my question yet. And I asked it like a minute ago, so he's really slacking here. I know he has 5 minutes in the real game, but we're on a schedule right now, a bit of a time crunch. Where are you, Neil? I'm gonna find you, but actually, most likely I'm not gonna find you. I feel weird filming near the school, and I assume Neil does too. The tree he sent me, the photo of the tree, did seem like a pretty big tree. So I'm kind of looking around to see if I see any really ginormous trees. I should have saved that building from your sightline question for the end game here. That would have been smart. Unfortunately, I did waste that already. Okay, he is closer to the zoo, which does mean I have to walk by this school on a Monday while filming, which is annoying. But, ooh, there's an East Side Neighborhood Park. I wonder if that's where he is. That seems likely. I'm gonna put my stuff away, And then we're gonna run over to that park and see if we can find him in the next 5 minutes. All right, coming for you, Neil.
Albert is coming toward me in the final minutes of our game. I don't know if he knows how close he is to me. He's looking around frantically for trees. Sorry, Drake. I might have to pick you up a little late today from school. Howard's gonna come with us. We'll discuss this in the car. I'm curious where he went wrong, but he is ultimately going to be able to find me. He is so close, so close. You can do it, Albert. I believe you.
Although he could be messing with me and assuming I'll go to the park because he's sitting under the tree. But this is also for fun, so maybe he is just sitting in a park. Let's just check. Does not look like the same sort of trees that he sent a picture of. So that's a bit of a bust. Honestly, like, kind of looks like the trees on the school campus, but I sure hope Neil's not over there. That was a pretty useless selfie. He is just sitting in front of a tree. It's a jacaranda tree, but I don't see any jacarandas around. I've got 3 minutes. Seems unlikely that I'll find him, which is pretty sad. Stupid trees. Hello, Franklin School. California Distinguished School? No, probably not. Oh, is that a jacaranda over there? Let's try that. It's kind of a big tree. Ooh, is that him? Did I find him in the time period? Hi, Neil. I found you.
You made it
Ooh.
in time. All right, now we have to. Now that you're nice and tired, we have to go back and.
I know we have to bike back up, bike back downtown. Oh wait, I never showed you. Here, hold this.
your egg.
Hold this. Let's find out. Okay. Okay, egg. I need to take out my protective. He was wearing a helmet the whole time, part of the time. All right, egg. Beautiful,
What's
nary. This is Egbert.